Welcome to FNaF News. I'm your host, the TNT Muffin, and today we're going to be talking about Funko, Youtooz, the FNaF 3 movie, and more. Now, starting off with the Youtooz news, we got our first look at the Freddy and Bonnie monitor buddies. In my last video, I showed you guys the Chica and Foxy ones, and we assumed we'd be getting others as well, and as you can see here, we did get that confirmed. I think these guys look pretty cute. You can get them for your monitor, or, I mean, honestly, just to hang it off like the side of a shelf or anything like that. Pretty interesting idea. They also showed us the back of the box for the Phantom Chica figure here. That figure is going to be in the FNaF 3 wave along with the other Phantom animatronics and that Springtrap figure I showed last time, which is really cool. I'm excited for that. And we also got our first in-person look at the Sparky plush, showing us its back. We don't get too much from this, but I guess now we know the material of the collar and that he has a tail. And another FNaF movie plush they showed us is the Vanessa Shelley plush, which looks alright. I'm not a big fan of the human Youtooz plushies, but it does look pretty well made. I think they did a pretty good job with what they could. And as you can see there, off to the side is a small look at the Grim Foxy plush that's going to be coming out eventually. We can't see very much of it here, but from what we can see, it looks like it might be a pretty cool plush. There's some good details on there that I would think would be printed on, but clearly aren't. So hopefully it turns out pretty sick. At least better than the Funko one, I hope. I will say, I think it's a bit too much of a bright red. I think Grim Foxy is supposed to be like a really dark red, but hopefully it won't matter too much, or who knows, maybe they'll change it. Now onto the Hex news. Daco showed us the Fun Time Freddy plush with this image here of the body with Bon Bon and this image of his head. I think this plush actually looks super good. It's got a lot of detail on there, especially on Bon Bon. I think Bon Bon looks pretty cute. Definitely better than the Bon Bon on the Funko Funtime Freddy plush. The head looks pretty good as well. I think maybe like the nose should be a little squished more, so like the teeth are a bit higher up, but I think it looked good amount of detail on there. Another plush from that wave, the Baby plush, has gotten a new look, which, more interesting to me, shows us a close-up look at the Cupcake plush. We did see this in the past, but it was a very low quality image, so getting to see it closer up is pretty cool. I think that one looks pretty sweet as well. As you can see in the background there's some of the Security Breach plushies. Another one we got shown is the Glam Rock Freddy plush. I believe this is our first look at the plush in hand, and I think it looks pretty decent. It's a little hard to tell what's printed on and what's not. Like, I can tell the lightning bolt isn't, but I can't really tell with like the sock things, the leg warmers or whatever. But I like it. I like the earring especially. That earring's making me a bit hungry. Next up, we've got some news on... Wait, what is that? Check the closet. Wait, I didn't put this here. Who did that? I guess I'll go to the closet. Alright, well this is just like some of my collectibles in here. And wait! The TNT Muffin Plush out now for less than 2 weeks on onaj.com? And wait! Thank you to Miss Pinball, Jackson is Cool, Slimy Snail, Reese Connor's Grandma, Peter Darway, 3 Boards Bro 6895, MJ Plush YT, Coco Martinez 9812, Jesse Bettis, Silver 9090, and everyone else that has bought the plush so far. Whoa, that sounds really cool. Wow, less than 2 weeks. That's gonna be gone soon. I guess you better get it quick before it's gone forever. Ah! Continuing on with the merch news, Funko just released this plush of a 10-inch Golden Freddy. Now, when I first saw this, I was freaking out because I thought this was literally just the Golden Freddy plush re-released, one of the rarest FNaF plushies, so that would have been crazy, but it is a 10-inch version, and as you can see, the eyes are a little different as well. So that's pretty cool. If you weren't able to get the Golden Freddy plush before, hopefully you can get this guy. It does seem like it might be a little hard to get, because it did sell out very quickly, and then when they restocked it, it sold out very quickly again. So hopefully it's not too hard to get. Hopefully they do keep restocking it. I also am curious if they're going to do this with Shadow Freddy as well. I really hope so, because I don't have the Shadow Freddy plush, and probably not going to get it anytime soon, so getting something like this would be pretty nice. And when you're done searching for this guy at Hot Topic, you can head over to Spencer's and get the new Freddy Fazbear Cotton Candy. It's the Fazberry flavor. I don't know what Fazberry tastes like. I guess I'll have to give it a shot eventually. I will say, I think it's a little bit weird that they're having exclusive FNaF stuff in Spencer's, just if you go by that, don't look around too much. Now, a very surprising bit of news here is that apparently the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 movie is in early development. So we're not getting it anytime soon, of course, but that's just crazy to me, because the FNaF 2 movie is not coming out for over a year. So the fact that they're already working on the FNaF 3 movie is crazy to me. Of course, the original FNaF movie was extremely successful for Blumhouse, so maybe they've got a bigger team working on FNaF now, just trying to crank these things out, or maybe just make sure it's as good as possible, since FNaF 3 is supposed to be like the final one for the trilogy. And speaking of the FNaF movie, the original FNaF movie is coming back in theaters on October 30th. This is going to be only at AMC theaters and only for that day, so if you weren't able to see it in theaters the first time, or if you just want to go back and see it again, there is that one day to go do it. Now, I have already seen the FNaF movie 5 times in theaters, but I'm so down to see it a 6th. Then after that, I've got to do one custom night, and then 420 mode, and then I beat FNaF 1. Going to see a movie is a good group activity, and another FNaF thing that will soon be a group activity is the Five Nights at Freddy's map on Funko Fusion. This November, they're going to be adding online co-op for the Five Nights at Freddy's map, so if you're playing this game and you want to do Five Nights at Freddy's with a friend, or if you don't want to play it until you're playing with a friend, soon you'll be able to do that. Which I think might be our first multiplayer Five Nights at Freddy's gaming experience so far. I guess FNaF AR is kind of multiplayer in a way, but I don't really count it, so real co-op FNaF stuff coming out soon. Another piece of game news here is that the console ports for Into the Pit are going to be releasing on September 27th, so by the time this video releases, you're going to be able to play that on console. Now that's awesome. It usually takes absolutely ages for ports to come out for FNaF games, so I'm very glad to see that this one only took like a month and a half. Good news there for console players. And speaking of Into the Pit, the cover for Return to the Pit has been slightly changed here, changing Spring Bonnie's eyes to blue. Not a very big change, but a pretty obvious one, making it more accurate to Spring Bonnie from the Into the Pit game. And the last bit of news here is that Creator Inc. has released some new FNaF merch with a couple of shirt designs and a lot of really cool posters with some pretty sweet art. We've been getting a lot of FNaF clothing recently with Hex, Cloak, and Creator Inc., and if you are a big fan of that, there's some more stuff here. And another clothing line that just dropped is from the Roosevelt, which is their first line of FNaF merch, I believe. Some of the designs here actually look pretty good. I'm a big fan of that red jacket, which unfortunately was limited edition and is now sold out. I didn't realize that until it had already sold out, so I didn't get to pick it up. But there's some pretty cool stuff there, and there's a blue version of it at least. This stuff is pretty expensive, unfortunately, but I mean, we're used to that with like Cloak and stuff like that, so it's whatever. I will say, I do think I like this a little bit more than what Cloak usually does, and I think the prices are a little bit cheaper, so I'm a fan of these guys. But that is all the news we have today, so if you want to subscribe, you can click the button on top of my head. If you want to watch one of my last news videos, you can click that button over there. And if you want to see some other video I made, you can click that button over there. And I'll see you when we get some more news on the FNaF 3 movie.